Good morning, everybody. This is Pablo.
And this is Spike.
Better known as Pirate Al. And we're here on...
Pirata.
Pirata this. Anyway, we're background actors, and we're doing background on background.
That's right.
It's our version of actors on actors. So what we're doing here is talking about our past background work. So let me start off by asking you, what was the first job that you can recall that you ever did as a background actor?
Well, my first job as a background actor, actually I can't recall. It's been a while. I can't recall, actually.
Okay, well, what comes to mind?
It was on set somewhere. I know. I think Santa Clarita.
Okay.
It was probably the first. It was one of the first ones. I remember. I did do the Cowboy Show.
The Cowboy Show. Okay. Wow. Okay. First background job I ever did was actually in junior high. I was at LeConte Junior High in Hollywood, and Terry Carter, who was in Battlestar Galactica, was making his directorial debut. Directorial?
Nice. Directorial
debut.
Directorial debut.
See, now you know why we're not actors, because we can't pronounce shit right. We're trying. Anyway, he was doing this movie, and he actually cast a bunch of students from LeConte who were in the drama department to do extras, and he actually cast a couple of our fellow classmates as leads, and that was pretty exciting.
Nice.
But yeah, so I got paid $15, which was a lot of money for a junior high school kid, and I think I was like in 7th or 8th grade at the time. But my professional background job has to be one of James Caan's final films, The Good Neighbor. That job we did in Santa Monica, and I played a juror, and I got paid $25 for that.
Nice.
And with that $25, I ended up going to like Johnny Rockets and bought a Coke and a burger, and that's it. I didn't even save. It didn't give me money for gas or anything. But it was a fun experience, and from that point on, I fell in love with doing background work and acting. So
I do remember the first thing I noticed was all the catering. I was like, wow, this is being in a movie set.
Yeah.
I mean, they have everything: that steak, chicken, fish. And they had donuts and snacks.
You ever notice that when they give you drinks, it's either water, tea, or lemonade?
Or lemonade.
Always. So I always make my Arnold Palmer. Half tea, half lemonade.
I'm a water guy, so...
Yeah, that's good for you.
Water's good.
Yeah. So anyway, so those were my things. So what's something that you notice that you don't like about background? Is there something that bothers you when you're doing background work?
When they put out the snacks, it's mostly just bunch of junk food. Mm-hmm. And when I first started, back on like anyone else, I said all I would eat was all the junk food.
Yeah.
So my doctor told me, hey, you're pre-diabetic. I'm like, oh, hold up, wait a minute, and want to put me on medication. So I had to stop eating all the damn junk food.
Yeah.
So because I was eating donuts and candy, because it was always there. Because
chocolate bars,
when you're in background,
potato chips,
you're in holding and you're bored.
Hey, we're doing a quick video.
Oh, sorry about that. That's okay. We're on camera, fool. And so, the first thing you go for is all the junk food.
Yeah.
And because that's what they leave out right there for craft services.
Yeah.
In holding, they have all these snacks, but it's mostly all junk food.
Yeah.
And you're bored, you start munching on everything, dude.
There was a time where, it was all of that, but then they started finally implementing like fruits, bananas, and oranges and apples.
Now they have fruits
and sometimes like some vegetables like
some
carrots.
Nuts.
Peanut. So one of the things I notice on set is people, when you're on set and you're so close to set, is when people start talking and they congregate like a big group, and then they start talking.
Groups, yes.
And when they're shooting, those boom mics. A lot of people may not know this, especially you new people that are getting into acting. Be mindful that those boom mics could be recording you, so you don't want to be talking any kind of smack about anybody.
They
especially
pick up a lot of things.
Yeah. So you got to be careful. Even from a far distance, you got to be quiet and be respectful on set. And I find it sometimes that some people are not like that because they don't know.
Well, they don't know. Like the newbies, they're still in awe of being on the movie set.
Yeah, yeah.
And they're just looking around, and they want to wander around.
And they want to talk to everybody.
And they want to talk to everybody. And they see like a major star, they're like, oh my God, start talking. And we're over there. You're not supposed to do that.
Yeah.
Leave those guys alone.
Because
they're usually working, and they're probably working on lines in their head.
Exactly.
And they don't want to be disturbed.
Absolutely.
And then people come up with, they're just assholes, or they're stuck up. That's not true.
It's not true.
They're in their zone trying to work on their character.
If they're mean to you, it's because they don't want you bothering them. But in majority of the time, the big stars, big names, even if they're not big stars, even if they're talent, they're really cool people, but they're just trying to learn their lines. They're going over and over their lines. They're blocking and all that. So just be mindful about all that.
Antonio Banderas, I was making a film with him, and he just came over. Hey, what's up, guys? ¿Cómo están? Hey, muchachos. He was awesome.
Yeah.
But let them come up to you and talk to them. Then you can greet them, say hi, whatever. But don't initiate. You can still say good morning or hi. That's about it.
Yeah.
If you see them, and you make eye contact.
Another time you can initiate with them is if you're doing a scene with them, and they ask, if you're like a featured background, then they'll work with you. And that happened with me on American Auto. I was a core background on that, and first season, the star of the show was Anna Gasteyer. I had no idea if I could talk to her or not, so I kept my distance. Second season, she comes back, and during my time waiting to get my voucher in the parking lot, she drives up and she starts talking to me, and I'm like, wow, cool. And there was a point the day before that she had waved to me, but during the pandemic, right after the pandemic, we were wearing masks. So I'm like saying hi to her back, and I'm smiling, but I realized that I have the mask on and she can't see my smile. So I actually asked her, hey, Hannah, were you yesterday saying hi to me? Because I wasn't sure. And she just turned around and laughed and walked away. But later that day,
crazy background.
Yeah. So later that day, we're doing a scene, and she had to, keep crossing back and forth in front of my table. And finally, at one point, they cut, and she walked right in front of my table and did this.
Nice.
And so I knew that she'd said hi.
You know what? I do notice that if you're a character like we are, they tend to remember you. If you're always smiling and having a good time and not complaining about a lot of things,
and doing your job and listening,
and doing your job and paying attention, and not making a lot of noise.
Yeah,
they like that. They remember you.
Yeah,
especially the crew members.
Yeah,
they're like, okay, because they're watching. They're watching which background pays attention, and they're doing what you're supposed to be doing.
Yeah. I totally agree with that. You as a background actor, you want to listen, pay attention, and listen for notes, and learn from others, and watch the actors. And if you want to move on as an actor, you want to watch these actors and see what they're doing.
You're allowed to watch what's going on, the scenes, what's going on, as long as you just not making any noise, bringing attention to yourself. They don't like that.
Yeah.
But you can sit there and watch everything going on. It's awesome. It's very fascinating.
Yeah. So remember, if you're doing background, it's not about walking back and forth, you got to be there, and you got to pay attention, and you got to act no matter what. Even if as a background, you're still acting. So keep that in mind. And note to self, if you're brand new, take classes. I took improv for several years. Did you take any classes?
I've YouTube.
Okay.
I always use YouTube, to do to check everything out.
Okay.
And there's a lot of good videos on there, for learning.
Like what? Such as?
How to be a background actor.
Okay.
There's people there who give you, with experience, who tell you exactly, like we just talked about, what you should be doing, what you shouldn't be.
So like us, we're giving you some good information on how to be
good
feedback and good food for thought. And with that, I'm going to say I'm going to sign off because I think it's almost time for us to go to set, and they're going to call our asses and say, hey, get your ass to ones.
That's right. Back to one.
So thank you for watching, and thank you, Al, for being in my
Thank you for having me in your video.
This is Background on Background with Pablo Ramos and
Spike.
Pirate Al. Bye, you guys.